Hello, today we'll be looking at how to factorize quadratic equations. There are simple quadratic equations where the coefficient of x squared is 1, which you can see here. And there are more difficult ones where that isn't the case. We will be covering both in this video. Let's start with a simple equation. How do I factorize x squared minus x minus 12? First, let's label the coefficients. Those are the numbers at the front. So I'll start off with a, we'll call the 1 in front of the x squared a, the 1 in front of the x will be b, and the number at the end will be c. If there is no number in front of a x, that means that it is 1. So in this case, the coefficient of a is just 1, and the coefficient of b is negative 1, with c being negative 12. If a is 1, in other words there's no number, then factorizing is very simple. All we need to do is find two numbers which, when multiplied together, will give you c, and when added together will give you b. So what we can do is start listing up what are all the factors of c, right? Because then we can guarantee that they're multiplied two together. So we can start off with negative 1 and 12, negative 2 and 6, negative 3 and 4, and then we flip negative 4 and 3, negative 6 and 2, negative 1 and 12. And now we just check which one of these pairs add up to give you b, which is negative 1. And the answer to this case will be negative 4 and positive 3. They multiply together to give you c, and add together to give you negative 1. And we're almost done. All we have to do now is put those into brackets. So I'm going to write my bracket, x, and I'm going to put the first number as is, minus 4. Close bracket, open bracket, x plus 3. And that's it. We have factorized our equation x squared minus x minus 12 as x minus 4, close bracket, open bracket, x plus 3. So, now let's look at another equation. 3x squared minus 3x minus 36. Once again, just label our coefficients. So we have a, this here, include the sign, is b, and this here is c. Now in this case, a is not 1, so we can't immediately use the method we just did before. So the first thing we should do before doing anything else is check, well, can I make a 1? So maybe we can simplify this this quadratic, and then we can use the other method. So let's try that. Is there a number, to simplify the quadratic, is there a number which goes into all three coefficients? In other words, is there a number that I can divide all three coefficients by? And the answer in this case is yes, I can divide this by 3, this by 3, and this by 3. So by dividing them by 3, I can put the 3 in front of a big set of brackets, and I now put the rest of this in, so everything divided by 3. So 3x squared divided by 3 gives me x squared, minus negative 3x divided by 3 is just x, so negative x, and then negative 36 divided by 3 gives us negative 12. And, well, there we have it. We've simplified our quadratic, and this we know we can solve. This was the exact quadratic we had last time. So from here we just solve that again, and just make sure not to forget the 3 that's on the front. So the 3 stays, and we end up with x minus 4 and x plus 3. So if a is not 1, just check, is there a way that you can make it 1 by dividing all three coefficients by the same number, and we can just put that number at the front. So let's look at one more equation. This time we have negative 2x squared plus 2x plus 24. So once again we notice that our coefficient a is not 1. So our first step, or our first instinct rather, should be, can we make it 1? So is there a number that goes into negative 12, into positive 2, and positive 24? And in this case, the answer is yes. 2 goes in there. So I'm going to take out the 2, divide everything by 2, so I get negative 6x squared plus x plus 12. Now here's where the problems start. Unfortunately, my a, the number in front of the x squared, is still not 1. So what can I do about it? Well, this is where our new method begins. So the first step to be able to solve quadratic equations that do not have a coefficient a of 1 will be to calculate AC. So that's a times c. So negative 6 times 12, this gives us negative 72. And I'm also just going to write down our b. Let's put it underneath, which is positive 1. So what I need are two numbers which multiply to give you negative 72 and add together to give you positive 1. So once again, you'll write up a list of factors for negative 72 and find the ones that add together to give you positive 1. In this case, I'm just going to skip ahead a bit and say that your answer here is 9 and negative 8. So 9 times negative 8 is negative 72, and 9 plus negative 8 is positive 1. So now what do? Unlike last time where we just put it straight into brackets, this time we need to do something different. What we're going to do is we're going to split up this middle bit with the positive 1x into positive 9x and negative 8x. So I'm going to write down, I'm going to ignore the plus the 2 on the outside, but we'll make sure not to forget it at the end. Negative 6x squared plus 9x minus 8x plus 12. So all I've done, let me just pick a different color. All I've done is split up my middle plus 1x into positive 9x and negative 8x. That is still the same. We haven't done anything crazy with it. Now why did I do that? Because now we can split this in half and factorize the left half and the right half, and you're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna factorize this left half first. So I want to find stuff that is both in negative 6x squared and in positive 9x. And the answer here is we can factor out a 3x out of it and see what's left over. So if I take out 3x from here, I'm left with 2x. And if I take out 3x from here, I'm left with positive 3. Oh, not quite. This is negative 2x. So negative 6x squared plus 9x will be giving us, when we take out 3x, is negative 2x plus 3. And now we're going to do the same on the right side. So what number goes both into negative 8x and into positive 12? Well, I can fit in 4 into both 8 and 12. So if I put in a positive 4 on the outside, I can see what I'm left over. And what's left over here is negative 2x and positive 3. Right? So negative 8 divided by 4 gives us negative 2, and positive 12 divided by 4 gives us positive 3. You'll notice now that our two brackets, let's draw this answer. The two brackets are exactly the same. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to deviate just a tiny bit and give you this problem here. What if we had 3x times b plus 4 times b? How would you simplify this? Well, factorize. So I would want to look at what's in common, and what's in common is that there's a b in both of them. So I can take out a b and put the rest into brackets, which is 3x plus 4. Correct? That's your natural instinct. Well, the same thing is happening here. This is the same equation, just that I've replaced the negative 2x plus 3 with b, right? This is negative 2x plus 3. This is negative 2x plus 3. So if I have the same thing on both sides, I can just put that thing, just like we did with our b, at the front. Oh, negative 2x plus 3. And I'll put the rest into a bracket on the side. So let me just color code this. 3x plus 4 will go into the other bracket. And there we have it. We have factorized this. Oh, almost. Actually, don't forget the 2 that we left outside at the beginning. So this 2 has to go back out there. And now we have it. We have factorized negative 12x squared plus 2x plus 24 into this here.